Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well wherever you are. This is Kenya Revolutionary for a late night, Friday night session with you today. If you're still up and you are not asleep, najua wengine wenu bado mnangorota kesho ni Saturday, ama mko kwa bar or whatever the case is. But hey, listen, I have something to talk about today. I won't keep you long. I won't be here for long because I know you're probably enjoying yourself, whether you are in a bar, whether you're in a pub, or in a dance, somewhere in a, whatever you want, whatever you are, okay? Whether you're having dinner, whether it's evening, whatever you're watching from this, or you're going to watch this on repeat. Karibu sana, we're just going to talk about a few things. As you can see, the question that I'm posing today is, do you still believe Ruto and Uhuru were or are political enemies, given the fact that Uhuru today paid a courtesy visit to the president that he handed over power to, the president that then, when Uhuru was president, was meant us to believe that this guy was not to be trusted, this guy was a thug, was a liar. Of course, he's all that thing because they're cut from the same cloth, they come from the same club. But now we see it with our own eyes. These guys were walking around, acting as if they haven't seen each other for a while. Well, we know these guys they usually have these secret meetings and whatever. So anyway, but for those of you who are still gullible enough, who still buy into the bull crap, do you still believe that Ruto and Uhuru were political enemies, or enemies for that matter? Do you still believe that? Okay, let's delve in. Anyway, before we get in, let's get the formalities out of the way. If this is your first time in this channel, this is Kenya Revolutionary channel. We talk about Kenyan politics and international politics as it relates to Kenya, world politics as it relates to Kenya, but the concentration is on Kenyan politics. So if you want to have a discussion, you want to have something to say, I'll drop the link. You can come in the studio, turn your camera on so we can have that discussion, okay? You have to turn your camera on. I have to see you. If I don't know who you are, I'm not going to let you come in until I see your face, because that's the new rules of the game. If you're going to say something outlandish, or you want to cuss out a leader and you're hiding behind a blanket or somewhere else, I'm not going to let you do that. You have to show your face, because I'm showing my face up, okay? So if they come for me, they know how I look. They know where I am. I want to look at them dead in the eye so we can, squash or handle whatever issue we have with whoever I talked smack about. But anyway, if this is your first time, ladies and gentlemen, you'd like to talk about Kenyan politics, karibu sana. This is your channel. Come in. Ebu dunga yo subscribe button and like and do all the good stuff. Share with your friends. Tell your friends in your WhatsApp groups. Please invite me in your political WhatsApp group. I will be more than happy to join them, okay? All right? And also, I'm on TikTok. You know what? I need to start streaming on my TikTok. I have to do that, okay? I will get to do that. But anyway, for those of you who have already subscribed, who are members, or you're just, you like kind of this politics, karibu sana. The first order of business is to do what? Like the video. Quickly. Hata nisiwa kumbushe, mmejua. Like the video, okay? But let's get started. Today, as I mentioned, Uhuru Kenyatta paid Ruto a visit at State House, or whatever the case they were. Yes, State House it was. Yes, that's that house that we are trying to invade so that we can actually remove Ruto, because he's not paying rent. Okay, we need to remove him. But anyway, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. I'll show you a few clips of these folks, and from the body language, you can tell these guys. First of all, Uhuru. Just by Uhuru, nudging Ruto up, it's like their buddies. Like, you're a little boy. I mean, okay, now you're a president. You're grown up now. You're serious. Now you're like the president. It was, to me personally, it was as if like Uhuru was small broing Nani Ruto. Yeah, Charlie, I see you. You see what you. That's what this was not. It's kind of what do I call it? What would I say? It's not disrespect, but it's also disrespect at the same time. Like, it's like, I don't respect you that much. Like, you are nudging. That's what you do with your homeboys. Like, if you guys are hanging up, my guys want to hang up, like two guys who, are best friends. That's what you do to each other. I don't care the kind of relationship they have, and if even if they're best buddies, bromance, whatever the case is. Seriously, this guy is the president now. First of all, Uhuru walked up there with a freaking shirt, no tie, no coat, no blazer, no nothing. He's coming to State House. Granted, he was raised, born, raised, and he has actually literally he has his house behind the State House. Like that's where he resides. Like nyuma ya State House, okay? That's where he resides. So if he needs kama napika ugali na unga ijatosha, he can literally walk to State House and hey, knock and tell Rachel, ebu Mama Rachel, ebu, can you bring me some, I'm cooking chapati, whatever the case is, okay? So, but still, the office of the president is somewhere where, if even if you're an ex-president or whatever the case is, even if your buddy is the best, is the president of the day, if you're going to pay him a visit, you should actually show the respect for that office, put on a tie, dress up, blazer, even at least casual, business casual, okay? Dress up, some dress pants, ka blazer, ka tie, because you're going to the State House. This is the house that is for the head of the state, okay? So even if it is your body, show respect for the institution, okay? Not just the person, okay? And also, like I say, the body language was kind of off. Like, you could see that Uhuru was comfortable. This is where I grew up. And that little nudge that he did when he nudged Ruto and Ruto, it was like, man, I don't take you seriously. Basically, that's what he was saying. Like, that was what he was communicating, okay? It was about DRC issue. What issue? I'm not pay KK bloggers credit, son. Yeah, maybe it was the DRC issues, but you know what? That issues. What's Ruto's role? Sorry, what is Uhuru's role in that? Is he? If they were real political enemies, like we are meant to believe, what will take Uhuru? Like, what's the reason for Uhuru to go? He can send his emissary and say, okay, if they didn't get along, he will send his emissary and say, okay, just go meet that fool, write down whatever he said, come back and tell me what they discussed. If they really hated Ruto, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's look at this video here and see what I was talking about. The body language, how this guy was strolling around, and to me, it wasn't a good look on both sides, on Uhuru's side and Ruto's side. Yeah. I mean, no. But anyway, maybe I'm reading too much into it, but that's just how I feel. Okay, that's how I feel, and I've been telling you guys, these guys, they in ile mchezo wa town, the long con game. All of these guys, they pretend. Okay, that's enough. Okay, I'm sure you got the picture. I'm sure you got the picture. Got the picture. Good. Get the picture. Karibu sana Shimariam. I see you in the comment section. Karibu sana, karibu sana, karibu sana. Nice seeing you. Anyway, that was just to show you a little bit of what happened. There's more. Actually, these guys were having romance moments where they were walking around. It was like they're on a date. Ruto is telling him, bado sijapata. I haven't moved on from when we were together. Remember how we used to hang out? We used to go to on a date up here on this lawn, and it was just stupid. Okay, like I said, it wasn't a good look for both parties. Number one, as I mentioned, Uhuru Kenyatta basically was like small broing Ruto. Yani alikuwa ham respect. Kind of like, hey, Charlie, umekuwa, you're now grown, eh? The way he was dressed, the way you could see, I mean, if you look at Uhuru right now, he has gained weight. He's kind of chubby, fat. He just doesn't he doesn't take care of himself, like you can tell, as far as physically concerned. I'm not talking about hygiene. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know if he stinks or not, but he looks like he stinks. But I'm just saying that, he was there flabby, dressed casually, like he's just too comfortable. Mnangagwa came from Zimbabwe and was dressed up in a suit. This is a head of state meeting another state, and you're showing up in a freaking shirt, a basic shirt. Okay? I mean, you should, I know. Unasema si mtu wa masuti. Okay, maybe seem to a masuti, but like I was just saying a few minutes ago, respect the institution, respect the office of the president. Ukienda hapo hata kama ni Uhuru, I mean hata kama ni nani, dress up. Look like you are there to carry out an important business. Now, if you want to dress casually, if Ruto was paying you a visit in Ishaweri, it doesn't matter. Unaweza kushow up na underwear red and that's all you have to wear, or on a mankini ama utoke hapo na kifua wazi. It doesn't matter because it's your home, okay? But for you, even if you're an ex-president, even if you grew up literally at the State House, it's not your private residence. You need to dress up. Dress up like you give a, like you respect the office of the president, okay? The institution itself. Give it some respect. Dress up like you're a serious person, especially if you're going to meet other foreign heads of state like Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa to me is, he's somebody, okay? This guy was involved in some, helping Omkoto Sizwe back in the 70s when they were being trained with Putin in Tanganyika, okay? So he's son of the soil, okay? And you're showing up in a shati yengine ya viscos hapo unakaa ambaye you're in a Lingala band. You're a member, you're the 5th member of the Extra Musika band. I mean, what the? Anyway, whatever. That's what I'm saying. Then you take a look at this other one. I mean, there was the second one. I'll show you another video. Sorry. But by the way, like in the video, like the video, if you're going to watch this, so repeat the same, okay? Okay, look at the second one. This is what I'm talking about. Just the body language, but I understand. Like I told you guys, these guys, they are nothing but these. Look at the style of walk by Uhuru Kenyatta. Look. Look at how they're greeting each other. I think you get the point. Look. It's too casual. All right. If you were to ask me, give you, if you're to ask me to give you an assessment of what I just looked at, I would say that it's evident that Uhuru Kenyatta just doesn't respect the office of the president just by the way he dresses, the way he's carrying himself, the way he's walking, the way he's greeting Ruto. He just doesn't. To him, it's like he's meeting his friend. That's my guy right there. We're walking around strolling. Hey, get a picture of how, we are doing things over here. Like we're just hanging out. Like it's not like people who are a former head of state and a current head of state, respect the institution, respect the office, okay? But the bigger point that I'm making here, I can care less about how he dresses. Well, I do kind of care about how he dresses, but they're all from they're the same, they work with the same WhatsApp group, okay? We understand that, right? But here's my point though. The bigger point that I'm trying to make here is that a lot of people are usually caught up with this, okay, this, whether you're from Central Province or you're from Rift Valley or Luo Nyanza or whatever, Western, they will come up and say, okay, Sijui Hunye, he's Mudamaki, he's the one who is behind all this trouble ambayo inapatia Ruto, anapatia Ruto, they don't get along, I kept on telling you guys, I mentioned this, these guys are not enemies. I told you this from the get-go. If if Uhuru Kenyatta truly hated William Samoei Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta would have never handed over power to William Samoei Ruto, given the fact that he controlled everything, every aspect, every institution in Kenya. Uhuru had it. He was just as corrupt as Ruto. I've been telling you that Ruto's regime is an extension of Uhuru's regime. There's now no little difference. I'm telling you, nothing, literally no difference. Same players. Even the handshake person is now shaking hands with Nani, just like he did with Uhuru. Nothing changed. Nothing. It's an extension of Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. And I've been telling you, this is why I told you, there is no way if Uhuru Kenyatta hated or couldn't stand Ruto the way he wanted to make us believe and vice versa, okay? There was no way in hell Uhuru would have handed power to William Samoei Ruto. He would have stalled the whole process of handing off over power. Hata angetupeleka martial law aseme ati Ruto ameiba, so means I cannot hand over power. Nitapatia tu Raila ashikilie ndio aendelee. You know, you see what I'm saying? I mean, look at how, listen to me. Let me give you an example. Just think about it. Nataka utumia akili yako kidogo. Because majority of us, we just use a lot of emotions. Listen to me. In 2007, look at how Kibaki, after he was defeated, look at how Uhuru Kenyatta, Martha Karua, okay, and the rest of these Mount Kenya mafia, how they defended Kibaki's theft, stolen victory. They swore up and down they were not going to give up power in 2007. And they were ready to do whatever it took, even if the country was to burn. But Kibaki was never going to hand over power, even though he lost. And everybody and their mama knew that Kibaki lost, but he never handed power. So here you are, you think Uhuru alikuwa anatishwa na Ruto ati sijui ati Ruto amesema ati ameshinda hapo, ati ameshinda ati atampatia. Unafikiri Unyange mpatia hiyo sword ati ameshinda fair and square, Uhuru ampatie? If Uhuru really hated him, fikirieni bwana, tumieni akili. That's what I want you to think. If Uhuru actually hated Ruto like they meant to kudanganya vile walidanganya wa Kenya, he would have not passed the baton to nani? To Ninio. Thank you, Sana. Thank you very much, Tuni. It's a long time. Nice seeing you. I'm glad to see you. Of course, Kumingi. I hope you're doing well. Okay? And that's why I tell you, these politicians wanatucheza, ni mchezo wa town tunachezwa. Tunachezwa. All of them are playing us. Ni rende moja. One group. But they play us because they want to maintain power within a few trusted hands. People who they know, when they come to power, hawatafungua zile kesi za zamani. Uhuru knew that by handing over power to Ruto akiingia kwa serikali, akipata nini ushukani, if he becomes the president, there's no way Ruto can open the books and prosecute easy stories that the Kenyatta family, Moi family, sijui hizo nani family, be what family, hizo corruptions zilifanyika 1963. He knew that Ruto cannot open those books. That's why he gave Ruto that ushukani. Alipatia hiyo mamlaka. He passed over the mamlaka. It is not because ati sijui he was respecting the law and the will of the people. If anything, Uhuru never cared about the will of Kenyans. Huyu jamaa hakushinda elections. He never won in 2003. He never won in 2013 and he never won in 2017. Sasa unafikiri mtu kama huyo, na even 2017 mliona vile alikataa kupatia na ninio mamlaka, because he lost. The people had to vote for Conman, to swear in Conman Raila Odinga at Uhuru Park and make him the people's president. Little did we know that Conman is also in this group ya Ruto na Uhuru. Hii mchezo wa town is part of it. Actually, he's the supporting cast, the main character ambaye anashikilia kila kitu pamoja. Because Raila's role was to play as the face of the opposition, mtetezi wa wanyonge. So vile wakina Ruto walikuwa na ribu, yeye anajifanya ati anatengeneza. Unamwona anaingia, haya, tialala, tibim, tubum, tabam. Alafu anaingia serikali. That was Raila's role. It has always been his role since 1997, 2002, 2007, 2013, 2017, 2022, 2024, when the Gen Zs were about to remove Ruto. Raila akajitokeza, haya, let me give my experts. Yeah. Some msichezewe. They are showing their faces now. They are showing their faces. They are showing their true colors. I don't know. Wamefika mahali ambao hawajali. Hata hiyo sasa kujifanya ati walikuwa wanajifanya ma enemies. There is no need to do it. Why should they? There's no threat. Now, tomorrow I'll do a piece on Gen Z and the revolution that we are seeking to have in Kenya. I want to do a piece on that. I will talk extensively and give you viable options as to how we can actually remove Ruto. What is actually stopping us from removing Ruto? Number one is Raila Odinga. Number two is the foreign powers that are sprinkling their worthless fiat money to these busybodies we call activists, political activists, and these human rights nonsense, wakina Boniface Mwangi and all these nonsense people. Okay? Number four, ni military. They are just as corrupt as Ruto. Number five are the people who are giving money to this youth, bankrolling the revolutionary movement. What the Jimmy Wanjigis and Gachagua and Kenyatta probably realize is this: we can bankroll this movement, this Gen Z movement, but the problem is our Gen Z wanasema wakichukua usukani, wakichukua mamlaka, watatunyonga hata sisi. So it is in our best interest if we maintain the status quo. Tucheze tu ili mcheze ya town hapa ati ile ya opposition versus, forget about the Matakaruas and wakina Wamalo wanapigana na anatembea huko sijui who is the head of DAP and DAP and sijui I don't know DCP and all these, just those are useless people. Hao ni watu ambao tu they want to make the news headlines. Tuliongea hapa ati wakina Museveni wakisikuja hapa sijui ni, you saw wakina Martha Karua hapo looking like a bunch of losers. Forget them. Hao ni watu tu wamewekwa tu hapo. Of the bunch, the only person who actually anapiga makelele that can actually, bother Ruto a little bit ni Gachagua. And the only reason is because Gachagua is trying to do what Raila Odinga is doing with the Luos. Anataka kujiweka kama yeye si ninio. Yeye ndio sasa mtetezi wa watu wa ninio Mlima Kenya. That's why Gachagua is somewhat relevant. Otherwise, Gachagua is a useless. Gachagua is a hawker. Gachagua na Oscar Sudi is no different. The difference is ameoa Dorcas na anaongea Kikuyu. Yeah? The only people who can remove Ruto ni Gen Z. And Gen Z, by definition, I'm not talking about Gen Z as a age group. I'm talking about Gen Z, the political organization coming together as Kenyans, majority of them being the Gen Zs, the age group. But in essence, it's all Kenyans who are sick and tired of this corrupt political system that produce corrupt individuals like William Samoei Ruto, Raila Odinga, Martha Karua, Uhuru Kenyatta, Wamalwa, Gachagua, Matiang'i, Kalonzo, Natembeya. You are right. You are right, Tuni. Gen Zs are divided. And that's why tomorrow I'm going to do an in-depth analysis on Gen Zs and what is actually stopping the Gen Zs from having a popular revolution. I will give it, dissect kabisa. Nitakuja na makasi kesho. Na panga na kila kitu na kadhalika. Ni dissect. Niwaonyeshe kwa nini Ruto hajaondolewa. Kwa sababu huyu jamaa anaweza kuondolewa kesho. Na kuambia tukishikana pamoja tunaweza kumuondoa kesho asubuhi. By saa 2 asubuhi. I mean saa 4. Sogoi mara moja express. Ha? Kwa sababu hii ni mchezo wa town. Mchezo wa town ambao unachezwa hapa. Ni watu kujifanya ati politically their enemies. Tena wanaongea, hey. Like listen, hata hii mambo mnaona ya DAP hapa na wakina Wamalwa na sijui Natembea. Ni mchezo. It's meant for the political analysts wakina Herman Manyora to discuss in their YouTube channels and in their hapo NTV wakina Onyonka waende wapige makelele na Sifuna wakipiga makelele asubuhi. Ni kama wanasema kitu important. This serikali. But they're part of this nonsense. Kwa sababu if you look at it, juzi Murkomen alienda kukutana na Natembea. Natembea has been making noise all year akisema tawe serikali tawe. Haya, Murkomen anaenda kamtembelea hapo wakashughulio. And it was done for public consumption. The target audience ni nyinyi wananchi. Ndio muone. To feed it, reaffirm the narrative that Ruto has bought everyone and can buy anyone. But in fact, in reality, all these busybodies, washenzi wote, they are in one group, wako WhatsApp group moja. Wanajifanya tu ati sisi ndio opposition, united opposition. Listen to me. So follow me. Juzi simliona Murkomen anaenda kusalimiana na Natembea. Leo mnamwona Natembea anazungumza anasema ati sijui anatoka DAP Kenya. Whatever, something of that effect. Wamalwa akaondoka kaanza kujifanya ati Wamalwa Listen, if you want to know that these people in the same WhatsApp group, all of these cartoons, the opposition, all of them were employed by Uhuru Kenyatta. All of them walikuwa na bebea Uhuru Kenyatta kibeti. Gachagua was his personal assistant. Natembea was taking orders from Uhuru Kenyatta vile Natembea alikuwa anachapa watu hapo Trans Nzoia. Matiangi, we know Matiangi. Uhuru akiongea yes sir, anaenda kuua watu huko huko chini huko Yala na Chikorokoro sijui. Martha Karua ndio huyo ulimuona akienda Limuru 3 akavote Uhuru Kenyatta akwaye aitwe mudhamaki. Look at them. Kalonzo zina akipewa pesa kidogo utamwona hapo ameenda kukutana na Ruto na nini na Uhuru Kenyatta hapo. I'm telling you these people are clowns. Wote wamenuliwa na Uhuru Kenyatta. They're under Uhuru Kenyatta's basket. Hakuna kitu hapo, and they're all friends, all of them. Martha Karua, Wamalwa, all of them. Na Ruto. There's no difference there. Raila, Matiangi. Si mnasikia watu wanasema ati Matiangi is being propped up by ninio? By Uhuru. I won't even surprise if Matiangi also is part of it. For the Gen Z, they are divided, but I will tell you why Gen Zs are divided. It's a very, very conniving, deceptive move by this political class, how they are doing it to further divide the Gen Zs. Wasi niliwaambia kitu moja. The biggest threat to this political class ni wananchi kushikana pamoja. Wananchi wa kutoka sehemu zote za Kenya wakuje pamoja na waamue kwamba watamuondoa Ruto, na sio Ruto peke yake, Ruto na hiyo serikali nzima na wanasiasa wote, wanabunge wote na maseneta na magavana na MCA, women rep, kila kitu. That is their biggest fear. And the only person who used to have that clout ya kuleta Wakenya pamoja ilikuwa Raila Odinga. Lakini shida ni kuwa Raila Odinga naye he's losing his clout because it started in 2017 when akaingia handshake baada ya wafuasi wake wengi waliuliwa na Uhuru Kenyatta, and he turned his back, went and shook hands with Uhuru Kenyatta. 2022 Ruto shot by using his police force, daily police, his folks in Nyalenda, in Kibera, and all other places. Raila Odinga went and did what? Broad base, NADCO, conclave intergenerational nonsense. So he has lost his clout. Lakini you know how he will try to play it like he wants that clout back. Atajifanya ati anakosana na Ruto. They'll engineer another ati wanakosana. Ndio sasa watu waanze kumwona hai ati Agwambo is back. Agwambo is back. Agwambo amerudi, the real Raila. Tengenye. Haya. Na pia Matiangi is a project. All of them, these people, all of these people, wakina Martha Karua, Matiangi, Eugene Wamalwa na Tempe, hao watu walikuwa mboch kwa kina Uhuru Kenyatta. They were maids. Walikuwa napiganga dasta kwa nyumba ya Mama Ngina. All of them, si wadanganyi. Hata Gachagua alikuwa anafuga wanyama hapo kwa nyumba ya kina Mama Ngina. He was in charge of all the dogs, feeding the dogs at 9 p.m. usiku kabla watu wajalala. Na Tembea alikuwa anafuganga mambuzi hapa, alikuwa anaangalia mambuzi. Watu walikuwa house help wakina Kenyatas, all of them. Thank you Katende, karibu sana. Karibu. It's a big con game. Sidanganywe. Sasa unaona Natembea sasa ndio watu wameingia ati Wamalwa sijui Halafu kuna hii mchezo wengine. Mchezo wengine ndio huu. Haya. Tunakumbuka wale wa vijana. Thank you so much ka Omuganda, my brother from another mother. I hope Kampala is treating you well, Katende. Then there is this folk. Hawa watu ambao wanajidinio. Don't wewe nani Maraga will not get votes. Listen, personally, before I even play this video, let me answer this question. Maraga is a nice guy. Maraga, I think what he did, thank you, Uganda. I think what Maraga did in 2017 was commendable. He stood up in the face of adversity. When he was facing threats, his family was threatened. He stood up for what was right. For that, I will forever respect him. Him running for president, I think it's a lost cause. Maraga is not going to win. Let me just tell you right now. If you want to cast his vote for him, Sam, begin. I know personally, I'm sure as death, Maraga is not going to win. Why? I've always said, hamtamshinda Ruto through the ballot box. Hamtamshinda, hamtamuondoa kwa hiyo cheo through kupiga kura. Hamtamshinda, wacha niwaambie saizi. Ruto will be counting the votes himself. Ruto mwenyewe, yeye ndio IBC na yeye ndio Supreme Court na yeye ndio Parliament. If you know what I mean. So hata muende mkalunde kura, Ruto ataenda aseme, vile mlikuwa vile mlitoka hapo kwa ninio, mlisema ati kura nilipata 100, lakini tukaangalia vizuri hapo Bomas Center, tukapata kwa niko na hiyo 100 ilikuwa milioni 1. Nyinyi ndio mlicount vibaya. Sini mtakimbia mwende Supreme Court. Mutaenda Supreme Court. Sasa hiyo Koome ashapewa milioni 3 hapo ama milioni 10. Munaenda hapo mnasema, I have evidence, sijui kulikuwa na sijui mtaambiwa hot air, rudini nyumbani. That's the last thing you can do. Na watasema haya, ataendelea, aendelee, sina ameshinda, sina mlienda kotini. Shida iko wapi? Sina Uhuru alikuwa naiba na anawaambia if you have problem endeni kotini. Kibaki the same, alikuwa naiba na anawaambia endeni kotini. Boy the same, nini? Endeni kotini. Wanapiga simu huko kotini, huko Supreme Court, wanasema jaribu, try, jaribu please. Yes, I've been saying there's no need of voting. Ni popular revolution. Hii ni revolution, ni si referendum, popular revolution. Wananchi wajitokeze and they exercise their power directly, not through representatives, but directly. It is constitutional. I had an argument with that pinhead called Morara. Morara hata sijui anavutanga bangi gani, azidi kuuza viti. I need new furniture. Mnimpatie namba Morara ninunue furniture. Ati anasema ati popular, ati sijui civilian coup is sijui nini. A confused object of art and design. NIS project, Ruto's employee of the year. Unajua ile ukweli ilikuwa nawaambianga mlikuwa mamski, siku hizi ndio mnaona. Raila, Ruto, Uhuru, Kachagwa, sijui wote wako goro moja. Same WhatsApp group. In fact, saizi wanakunywa chai pamoja. Wanawaangalia, nyinyi saizi mnapiga hesabu. Sifuna akisimama Nairobi, Sifuna atashinda. They are laughing because hata washaeka their candidate ambaye anaenda kushinda. Hata washajua, washamnunulia koti mpya ambaye atavaa. Nyi bado mnasimama hapo mnasema hey. Yeah? Wakisii watapatiana kura milioni 3. Wajaluo watapatiana milioni 6. Wakamba watatupatia milioni 7. Wa Coast Province watatupatia watu wa Northeastern watatupatia sijui milioni 10. Hesabu gani? Mnacheza nyinyi. Haki mnacheza. You're playing. Ndio maana nawaambianga hivi. Nawaambia hivi. Hiyo hasira mko nayo ambayo saizi the problem is you are postponing this hasira na mtaitoa kwa njia mbaya in 2027. Sasa zile mmekasirika na saizi mnaangalia tu kiukabila, mnasema ati hii kabila ndio imetuangusha au ndio wamerudisha Ruto. Tuwachapi. That's how we do our politics. Instead of looking at it mseme hivi. Since nothing is working. Since saizi Mungu anaonyesha ati hao watu kumbe wanasikizananga hapa hivi kila siku wanajifanya hata wanatukanana hapa hivi kumbe ni marafiki. So how about this? These are the very people who are not bringing development. We've entrusted them with our money, with our lives, with our taxes, with our votes. Na hivi ndio na behave. Haya, tushikane kama Wakenya na tuwaondoe. All of us of all tribes, Wajaluo, Wakamba, Wakikuyu, Warabu, Wasomali, Wataita, Wamijikenda, Wadigo, I don't know, whatever, all the tribes. Na tuondoe Ruto na hiyo ni miogoro yote. Then we choose a new IBC and choose a new president and a new cabinet and new members of parliament and new governors that will adhere to the constitution. Yeah, Ruto may stay. Msipochunga. But one thing is for sure though. Hata Ruto when the IBC bandia hii tunaionanga hapa hivi. When they wakisha announce tu ati Ruto ndio president. Haya, vita itaanza hapo. Vita itaanza. Hapo vita tu ile vita ile ya ukabila. Utasikia sijui Rift Valley imeshika moto. Sijui wapi. Sijui wapi. Si wadanganyi. Mimi ninawaambia. I'm telling you. Thank you Nani for the reminder watu wa subscribe hapo mara moja. I'm helping you. Naambia ukweli. Ubaya wa Kenya unajua tuambiane we don't like telling each other ukweli. Tunapenda tu gloss over the issues. Tunasema bado tunafanya tribal arithmetic, hii ni hivi, ni vile. Tusikie Muluka hapa. Muluka kuna mambo ya kutuambia. Amejipanga, lakini sisi kama wananchi hatujajipanga. That's the problem. Na usipojipanga mtu atakupanga. Unaona? If you don't speak, somebody else will speak for you.
Otieno Kajwang, like Odinga is ODM, and ODM is Raila Odinga. People, including some who have since died, like Kajwang, Otieno Kajwang, like Jakoyo Mediwo, and others. His own brother, Oburu Oginga. They have always told us that ODM is Raila Odinga and Raila Odinga is ODM. But ODM is not Jesus Christ. ODM is not a panacea. It's just a political formation full of conmen like any others, full of hero worshippers, people who worship outside an empty shrine, inside which there's only an idol. And that idol is Raila Odinga is ODM, and ODM is Raila Odinga.
One more time.
People, including some who have since died, like Kajwang, Otieno Kajwang, like Jacoyo Mediwo, and others, his own brother, Oburu Oginga. They have always told us that ODM is Raila Odinga, and Raila Odinga is ODM, but ODM is Jesus Christ. ODM is not a like any others, full of hero worshippers, people who worship outside an empty shrine, inside which there's only an idol, and that idol is Raila Odinga is ODM, and ODM is Raila Odinga.
All right, we got the point. So, Muluka is right. I mean, ODM, with the exception of a few folks that are remaining, I mean, it's all over. So now, there's different views of looking at things. Remember yesterday I told you I played you a video of a leaked audio by Nani by William Samoei Ruto. Remember back in the day when a few years ago when he was talking about alikuwa na anamkosoa Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta was talking about mimi nataka kurudi Shaweri sijui nini, then uh, Ruto said, huyu jamaa ningemchapa kofi ni tu, whatever the case is. Basically just saying Uhuru was drunk, he wanted to give up the victory and he said, no, don't give up. So then it was also the same day when we had the news about Ile Standard and all these news outlets came out to the news about who actually owns is it Nairobi Highway, whatever highway it was. I don't know. Take a highway, one of the highways that is said to be owned by the Kenyatta family. So some people are looking at it like, okay, Uhuru Kenyatta went to State House to straighten up things, because he felt like his family is being exposed. Some people felt like, Ruto is desperate. Ruto is in a sinking ship, so he doesn't want to sink by himself. So he wants to deflect the negative energy that he's getting from Kenyans by exposing the Kenyatta family, basically saying that, listen, I'm not the only corrupt person. Let me show you the corrupt people who came before me. And that's why he exposed that story about, I think, is it whatever highway it was that Kenyans paid 3 times the actual amount of price. So, Dr. What's her name? I forgot her name. Dr. Something. This lady, she kind of came up with maybe that wasn't the who end up kumwambia nani, kumwambia Ruto, because if you notice, the Kenyatta family has always been really on the background, power and influence in Kenya, the number one richest family in Kenya. But if you notice, they always have their puppets. They always wanaika puppets wao to frontline as these politicians. They fund politicians. They own a lot of businesses in every aspect of the economy. Okay, it's I think they learned that from the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. Okay, you own millions and you basically influence every part of the society's economy, whether it's in education, whether it's healthcare, and you fund all these politicians to actually, carry out what you want to implement or what you want to impose on the people. Okay, so the Kenyattas kind of learned from that. They are the number one richest family in Kenya, and they do such things. Okay, so basically what she was trying to say is that, since the news came out about the family owning things, Uhunye alienda hapo ku straighten things out with Ruto to say, hey, listen, tuliza boli bana, acha ku expose hiyo maneno sana. It doesn't look good on us. But I'll let you this is Dr. Mumbi Seraki. I think her views are also valid. You can look at it that way. I'm not sure if I agree with that or disagree with that. I don't know, but it's good to hear different view from somebody else who's looking at things in a different way. So here it is. Wacheni wachezee msikie Dr. Mumbi kidogo akiongea, halafu we'll be out the back.
own. The Nairobi Expressway was just like by the way, it was just like a news item. No, man. Yo, Nabi knows he's going down. And he's not going down alone. And the way guys discuss this Nairobi Expressway, this is for entertainment purposes only. So it looks like it worked. Nabi's plan of forcing a meeting with Uhunye has actually worked. You think the way the fact that the Kenyatas own the Nairobi Expressway was just like by the way, it was just like a news item. No, man. Yo, Nabi knows he's going down. And he's not going down alone. And the way guys discuss this Nairobi Expressway and even the foreign implications to the so called first family of the nation was so epic that they even had to hold secret meetings and stuff like that to try and see what they could do. And now Uhunye had to actually suck up his pride, suck it up, and go and meet Nabi. So apparently there's some kind of East African community and Southern African community, whatever, meeting, which he could have done from anywhere. But he had to take himself there, humble himself, so that they can try and see how this political class will survive. And they ain't surviving. But you know what this means, family? The spell of the Kenyatas has broken. Because when Jomo came in, and the mother of the nation, they actually did such a heavy binding spell on the Agikoyo nation with the slaughtering of hundreds of Mau Mau, stories that are yet to be told, and the confiscating and inheriting of Mau Mau land, among other things, that for years and decades, you could not even mention the Kenyatta name in a negative light without being attacked spiritually by jinns, by all kinds of demonic entities. But I told you, we are in the season where all altars over this nation are breaking because the ancestors and the ancient ones are back. And the stronghold, the principality that family had over the Aginokoyo people, the enslavement, the binding has cracked. It's breaking. Even them, they can't believe it. Even them, they can't believe it. But to see Uhunye in State House with his so-called sworn enemy, hey, it might not look like it, family, but we're winning on an epic level. Stay tuned.
All right. So you see, one thing we can agree with how is that we were meant to believe that Uhuru and Ruto are enemies, but we already saw how they met. This is not the first time they met, by the way. Remember back in the day, well, earlier this year, actually, was it this year or late last year, when Ruto actually went down to Ishaweri to meet Uhuru Kenyatta. That's after the British High Commissioners and the American representative ambassador, not the one that left, the one under Trump, went and visited Uhuru in Ishaweri. And also the other day, this past week, the British High Commissioner went and visited. Listen, let me connect the dots. Oh, this is just coming right now. Boom, 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 boom. Just listen to me very carefully. This is so good. This is so good. This is so good. Listen to me very carefully. Something that I just remembered. Remember something. I want you to just remember. The first time when Ruto went down to Ishaweri to visit Uhuru Kenyatta in his home, in Ishaweri, of course, it was preceded by the American ambassador, not Meg Whitman, the one that came after Meg Whitman, the American ambassador who, and the British High Commissioner went and paid a visit to Uhuru Kenyatta at Ishaweri first. And there was questions, okay, what are they up to? How is it? How important is Uhuru Kenyatta? I mean, we've never seen an American ambassador or a British High Commissioner visit Moi in his house in whatever, Kapsabet or whatever the case Moi was from, okay? But notice one thing. After the British Commissioner and the American ambassador, kumbuka walikuwa pamoja, both of them went at the same time to visit Uhuru Kenyatta at Ishaweri. A few days after that, it was none other than Ruto who paid a visit to Uhuru Kenyatta at Ishaweri after the British Commissioner and the American ambassador visiting Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, peep this. Yesterday or the day before yesterday, listen to me very carefully. 2 days of yesterday or the day before that, the British High Commissioner went and paid a visit to Uhuru Kenyatta at Ishaweri. A few days after that, 2 or 3 or 1 day after that, Uhuru Kenyatta meets Ruto at State House. What I'm trying to say is there seems to be a pattern here that every time Ruto meets with Uhuru Kenyatta, whether it's in Ishaweri or State House, it's always preceded by the American ambassador or the British High Commissioner meeting Uhuru Kenyatta. You understand what I'm saying? So could it be, and now I'm flipping the script, could it be that this American ambassador to Kenya and the British High Commissioner, are they actually brokering this meeting between Uhuru Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto? Is there something there? Do your research. It's always that pattern always is the same. Go check your news, Nino. Just 2 days ago, the British High Commissioner was in Ishaweri. Few days after, Uhuru Kenyatta is in State House to meet Ruto. It's always like that. Especially the British High Commissioner. Now, for those who know the history of the Kenyattas, they are deeply connected with the British government. Okay? Jomo was basically a British agent. You can argue he was an MI6 agent put there to oversee Kenya. In fact, Kenya was actually considered a corporation. What is part of the East African whatever company, whatever. It was a corporation. Kenya was a corporation. But okay. Now after 1963 it became a republic. Then they put Jomo there. Abel told you the story in my last video that I played yesterday. So could it be that these Westerners, the American ambassador to Kenya and the British High Commissioner, are brokering this meeting by these two dimwits that met at State House? Okay, could it be? And what's the plan? Because by the way, IMF say they are ready to release the money as soon as Ruto apige sahihi ya ile ninio. But is that money really actually going to the Kenyan folks? I told you, we talked about this, and I told you the World Bank never gives money to a country for development. If anything, it banks on that country to fail to pay its debt so that they can actually leverage that to control and own the country's economy and usurp its sovereignty, give it up to these multinational corporations, the Vanguards and BlackRocks, and so forth, so forth. Understand what I'm saying? Yes, that's what I'm trying to talk about. So it's a topic that's worth exploring as we continue to see what these two are up to. I think there's something being worked out. There are people who are saying that, and that's the topic that I don't want to touch today because I was saving it for tomorrow. It's the topic that is connected to this whole Uhuru Kenyatta being suspected to be the person who was bankrolling this this Gen Z movement, the Jimmy Wanjigis, Uhuru Kenyatta's, Gachagua. Were they bankrolling a faction of this Gen Z movement? Is there some truth in that? We shall delve deep into that and see how this connects. Maybe the American ambassador and the British High Commissioner have some intel that the Kenyattas are actually working to destabilize Ruto's government for whatever reason, and now they're stepping in, given the fact that Kenya, Nairobi is going to be will be the capital where UN has its headquarters. So it is in everybody's interest, as far as these colonialists and their puppets, to see that the country has some semblance of peace so that UN can carry out its global agenda, globalist agenda. Could it be the case? We shall explore all that today, tomorrow. Who's really behind the Gen Zs? Why are Gen Z not out there? Why did they stop? Are they recouping? They're divided. Tony just told me that they're divided. It seems like they've actually been taken over by probably Gachagua. By the way, Gachagua will be in California, in Anaheim, some high school there on Sunday, I think, or tomorrow. When is tomorrow? Is it tomorrow or on Sunday, whatever the case is? So we might pay him a visit. I'm kidding. I might not. I will not, actually. Okay? So that's worth exploring, but that's a topic that I will save for tomorrow. Today, I just wanted to tell you, in my opinion, as I see it, I've been telling you this is one WhatsApp group. They might disagree on who controls what and what, but when it comes down to it, when the power structure of this corrupt political system of Kenya is threatened, they come together and work out something. Maybe by the advice of their puppet master, the British and the Americans. But nevertheless, they're in one WhatsApp group. So if things go left, they come together to defend their interest. And interest they do have, a huge one. Whether it's the Kenyattas, when it is the Moi family, the Raila, the Odinga family, call it whatever you want. They want to remain the demigods. And the support they enjoy when they go to Nyanza and they're called Gwambo Terengenye, Konoman Mwenyewe, whatever the case is. When they go to Ishaweri, they want to be called the Mudamaki. When they go to the Neo Rift Valley, they want to be called as Sijui Nini, Arab Somei, whatever the case is. We shall explore that all tomorrow in depth. And if you want to be part of the conversation tomorrow, hapa. So subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the good stuff. I'm trying to reach out to somebody that is I think was very interesting. Actually, I'll play her video as the last video here, then I'll let you enjoy your night. But here it is. I have to play it. This young lady that actually questioned Gachagua on that day. She spoke somewhere and she just gave a background of what she was at. I'm trying to get a contact with her so we can just have a chit chat. But if it doesn't work out, that's fine. I'll try to get her to have a conversation with me about what she does and what was her what was the thought process when she didn't confront but asked questioned Nani Yachago about his position and his political tribal
Hi
exercise,
everyone,
whatever.
my name is
Here she.
Mheshimiwa, to start positioning yourself as a national leader, not as a tribal leader. And I know many people won't like what I'm saying, but it's the truth.
Hi everyone, my name is Valentine Wanjiru Githai. I am the young lady that you see trending in this video. I am the founder and a member of the 625 movement, which is June 25th movement. We are a collective of young Kenyans here in the diaspora, primarily the DMV. We formed the group to commemorate and to remember the lives of the young Gen Zs that were lost last year during the protest of the finance bill, all the way to now with Albert Ojwang and Boniface Karaoke being the latest ones, and may their soul rest in peace. Fight and just those in the United States, but also those in Kenya. Yes, we formed the movement in January of this year, but we started our work last year. Some of us either were involved in organizing the protests last year at the IMF and the Kenyan Embassy, or participated in those protests. And the reason we had those protests at the IMF was to call the IMF out, hold them accountable for their role in the draconian finance bill, with the austerity measures that they were pushing. The vision that we have for our country is a country that embraces values and not ethnic politics. Our Mau Mau and our Shujas, they didn't die for Kenya to be where it is right now, on its knees. They didn't fight so that a group of people, the political elites, can squander everything that we have in Kenya. And they use tribal narrative to divide us. This happens most during the campaign. And when you trace the root of these tribal narratives, it goes all the way from the colonization period. Tribe is not a bad thing. It is good to embrace your tribe, but it becomes very dangerous when it starts dividing us on a political basis. The leaders that we have right now in Kenya, we have been recycling them. And the reason why we are recycling them is because we keep voting for Mtuangu, Mtuangu, Mtuangu. When that Mtuangu goes to parliament, they forget about you. And these Mtuangus are all over the country. When you buy bread for 50 bob in Nairobi, the same bread is maybe 50 bob in central Kenya or 50 bob in Rift Valley or Luoland. It doesn't matter where you are, the economics is still the same, but they keep squandering, they keep looting, and they keep benefiting from our divide. And we have to push back. How do we push back? Is calling these people out, calling the political class out on their BS every time when we see it. We don't let it slide. If we don't fight for our country to be a country that embraces good leadership, good governance, merit, then unfortunately, in 20, 30 years' time, we will not have a country. We fight not just for us, but we fight for our children and we fight for our children's children. We fight for the right of everyone to be able to have access to justice, access to health, access to education, no matter your class, no matter your tribe, because you are Kenyan first and you matter. All lives in Kenya matter. I'm seeing gun, but one thing that they're refusing to embrace is our values, which we say we are a tribeless movement. We are a tribeless people. We are people who are against corruption. We are people who embrace equity and equality. that pisses me off right now is seeing people on the old guard patronizing us as young people. We say they'll be like, oh, the Gen Zs are doing a good job and they're in their right to do that, but then they call us stupid and they act as if we don't know what we are saying and we don't know what we are doing. We are grown, we have brains, we have the capacity, we are the change makers, we are creative. And I'm talking about young people. The old guard keeps neglecting us, keeps leaving us out of important conversations. And we are saying, no, this is a new Kenya. We are beginning a new Kenya, not a Kenya full of divide. No, it's a Kenya of unity, a Kenya that embraces the ideology of nationalism, not an ideology of tribal politics. How do we as young people change this? We have to vote in 2027. Tusipovote, hii kazi yote itakuwa for nothing. The lives that we have lost will all be for nothing, and there will be no change. We will not go anywhere. And let me remind you, if we Kenyans rise, Africa will rise. We have begun doing it and we can. And we also take this another step forward. We also vie for these positions. I know we are scared because we don't have money, but if we vote, we actually don't even need the money. We are 70% of the population. So we can run for these MCA seats, women reps, MPs, governor, senator, deputy president, shoot, even the government, even Abraham 37, but he got this maybe at 34, 35. So there is a possibility that we don't have to be just 35 and over. We can do it as young people. We don't give up. We keep on the good fight. Viva.
I said absolutely. I agree with her wholeheartedly in everything. The only part I disagree with her is about we need to vote in 2027. Like I mentioned, voting will not take out Ruto. Ruto will be sitting there pretty, waiting for you to make your vote. Then he will declare himself president. We need a popular revolution, not a vote. But that's a difference that I have with a lot of people who still think that voting will. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Hopefully, I've unmuted. Cindy, I'm mute. Right. Okay. I'm unmuted. But anyway, I just wanted to play that short snippet or short message from her, but I will try to get contact with her, maybe host her probably, I don't know, maybe this weekend. I don't know how, I don't know where she lives. I don't know where her schedule, but we'll try to the new to the program so I can interview her and whatever. It's so funny that Tuni amesema hapo ati after this we never saw Gachagua again. Well, apparently Gachagua is going to speak in Anaheim, California on the 3rd, which is tomorrow or Sunday, whatever the case is. But we'll see how that one goes. Anyway, guys, I'll leave it here. Like I said, after today's meeting, do you still believe Ruto and Uhuru are political enemies? My answer still stays the same. These guys were never enemies. Ilikuwa mchezo wa town, like all of these people, this political class do. I'll leave it here. Thank you very much, Tuni, for being part of it. Shimariam, Omuganda, thank you very much for being this part of it. And everybody else who have been watching in the background, being quiet. And everyone else who's going to watch this on repeat, do me a favor. Subscribe, share, like, comment, and do all the good stuff. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow or Sunday, whatever the case is. I'm Manamagani. Peace and blessings. I'm out.